Hi students, welcome back for another week of distance learning. I wanted to start off by saying that I also just received this news today, and I want to first let you guys know that I am absolutely heartbroken that I won't get to see you again this year. I think it's really sad. I understand the decision, but I just want you all to know that I really am going to miss you. I'm really glad that we can keep connecting online this way, and I encourage you to please come to office hours so I can see you, even just pop in and say hi. I really do miss interacting with you guys every day, and I'm really saddened by this news. So I want to do everything that I can to make sure that we can still stay connected during the rest of distance learning for this year. That being said, there is still a lot of learning to do, so we are going to jump right in so I can tell you what to do for this week. The first thing that I want to do is summarize the story so far, because this week we are actually going to finish this short story. So if you are confused about what's going on, I'm going to take a trip over to our friend Wikipedia and read you guys a quick summary of the story up until this point. So you can just listen, make sure that you're tracking with the story. Hopefully you'll be like, yeah, this makes sense. I knew exactly what was going on. If not, feel free to always listen to the story through again now that you know what to be listening for. So here is our Wikipedia summary of the plot so far. So in The Dangerous Game, it says big game hunter Sanger Rainsford and his friend Whitney are traveling to the Amazon rainforest for a jaguar hunt. After a discussion about how they are the hunters instead of the hunted, Whitney goes to bed and Rainsford hears gunshots. He climbs onto the yacht's rail and accidentally falls overboard, swimming to Ship Trap Island, which is notorious for shipwrecks. On the island, he finds a palatial chateau or a giant castle inhabited by two people, the owner, General Zaroff, and his gigantic servant, Ivan. Zaroff, another big game hunter, knows of Rainsford from his published account of hunting snow leopards in Tibet. Over dinner, he explains that hunting animals has become boring for him, so he moved to Ship Trap Island and set it up to trick ships into wrecking themselves on the jagged rocks that surround it. He takes the survivors captive and he hunts them for sport, giving them food, clothing, a knife, and 3 hours of a head start, and using only a small caliber pistol for himself. Any captives who can elude Zaroff, Ivan, and a pack of hunting dogs for 3 days are set free. He reveals that he has won every hunt to date. Captives are offered the choice between the hunt and being turned over to Ivan. Rainsford denounces the hunt. He says it's evil, but Zaroff replies by saying that life is for the strong and to be lived by the strong. So that's where we are right now in the story, and that's where we will pick up this week. I also wanted to spend a moment clarifying how the lines work because your read along journal will reference certain line numbers. Okay, so if you look at a part of the story like this, there will be line numbers occasionally. What you need to do in your mind is fill in the rest of the numbers in between so you know what line you're on while you're reading. We're going to add 2 new vocabulary words this week as well in our normal vocab grid. So find where you have been taking the notes for this, and we're going to add 2 more words. We're adding steak and stamina.
Hi, everyone. We're going to go through some vocabulary on the last part of the story. So, our first word is steak, and it is a noun. Okay, and the meaning, this is a word that has more than one meaning. So, one of the meanings that is talked about in the story is that it's a strong wooden or metal post with a point at one end. So, like a wooden stick that is pointy on one end. Um, and it's talked about in the story when Rainsford builds a trap. So, you'll see that. And then another definition of this is at stake, which means at risk. So if you talk it, like a good example of that, well, we'll get to that in a minute, but 2 definitions to sort of keep in mind. We also have stake out, which means like watch or look for something. Stake a claim, which means like declare that something is yours, say that something belongs to you. There's our image, a pointy wooden stick. And example sentence. I used 43 stakes when I put up my fence. And then we were talking about at stake. So you could also think about what's going on right now with coronavirus. Many people's lives are at stake due to coronavirus right now, which is why, of course, we have school canceled so that those people don't get it. And then for your Flipgrid practice, we have this sentence, which you are going to complete. I used a stake in my school project to make a blank. So any ideas you have about what you could use a stake for, you can put it in that blank and then say that in your Flipgrid practice.
Awesome. And I just want to remind everyone too that the Flipgrid practice for your verbal practice is not optional. There are some optional like extra credit options on Flipgrid, but your verbal practice is an assignment. Our second word is stamina, and stamina is a noun. The definition means to have the ability to do a mental or physical work or task for a long time. So whether that means you have good reading stamina, that means you could read for a long time. A lot of people talk about stamina with sports, right? So you train and you work out so that you can do a physical activity for a long time. So our image, therefore, is some people running. And then our example sentence is the first time I went running, I didn't go very far, but now I've built up my stamina and I can run 5 miles. So our verbal practice for this word is, since being on quarantine, I have built my stamina for. So what can you now do for a longer time than you could before? So once you have finished that sentence and made it as long and strong as possible, upload that to Flipgrid as well. And that brings us to your job for the rest of the week. So what we want you to do is finish the story. So that means reading from page 18 until the end of the story. If you're listening along, that means listening from 27 minutes and 10 seconds until the end of the recording. Okay, and then completing Read Along Journal 3 and submitting that on Google Classroom as well. I also wanted to remind you to upload your vocabulary verbal practice onto Flipgrid, as we usually do. And then also remember to be looking again at that IRP project. Email me if you have any questions at all, or if you need help finding a book or resources to find books online. That again is going to be due June 1st. For all students, so review that project. Again, the video is down below from Monday, April 20th. Also, if you are at this point or when you finish the story confused about what happened in the Most Dangerous Game, you can go down to April 13th and there is a link for a guided reading and a summary that Ms. Bartholomew put together, and that can be really helpful as well. There's a retelling of the story that simplifies the events. It's from Sanger Rainsford and it's in first person, so it's him talking about what happened to him in the story. Okay, so there are some great resources if you are a little bit confused about what happened in the story as well. If you need more things to do, I've had some students who are like, I'm so bored, please give me more stuff to do. I will put a link to this parody video that is a 5th grader who rewrote Hallelujah to be about online learning. I also have some suspense writing prompts that I will link as well. So they're just, I think it's 20 or 30 different writing prompts for suspense stories so that you can write your own. And there's also extra credit on Flipgrid, which I posted a while ago and talked about last week as well. But you can do extra credit on Flipgrid by uploading your own spoken word poem And the last thing you could do is to write a haiku about quarantine as well that I can give to Miss Thorstad for the time capsule project. So a lot of extra things if you would like to do those as well. Again, please come to our office hours on Tuesday because I miss you guys and I would love to talk to you and check in and see how you're doing. Until next week, bye bye.